Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Cup group stages here. Of course, we are stuck in the ESL studios, casting this for you guys over the weekend. And we are now into a second game of the day. We're going to see France yet again play. And the reason why this match is so important, Jason, is because Norway as well are also looking very strong in this group. Yeah, both teams 3-0 at the moment. So basically, if you win this game, you're the #1 seed. If you lose the game, you're seeded #2. And what's so important about being seeded first, assuming this is happening, this is what we're going with for now until we're told otherwise. Seed 1 out of a group plays seed 2 from another group. And that's the knockout match that happens between the 14th and 16th on next week, or this week coming up. So basically, if you're seed 1, you avoid like Sweden, you avoid Finland. I mean, it was Sweden for sure, Finland most likely. Probably, yeah. You avoid Germany or say and Baltic. Like you avoid a lot of these pro teams, but teams that have fully pro players. Sure. So it's really important for both these teams here to actually win this game. Absolutely. We can. We're in the lobby at the moment. We're getting ready to jump into the game. Also, let's talk about Team Norway. I hadn't seen them yet. Trop's the captain, who actually plays for Dude, who I casted in the Ghosty game as EU Cup, I believe, last weekend, number 18. So not the one just happening this weekend, but the one prior. Badger, as well as the tank player, the flex player for B-Fly. And then you've got Onigod, it was Average Jonas and Envision all play on the same team in Norway as well. So this is a pretty quality team. Now, these guys have only had, I think, 2 days to actually get all their team together, which has been quite interesting. So they were obviously in a rush to make ends meet, as it were. But they put together a team. They feel quite confident. We do have a large amount of serious competitive Overwatch experience on this Norway roster. So, I mean, I expect this to be quite a close one, Jason. Even closer than the one where we saw with France and Portugal, which, in my opinion, was quite a fiery engagement. Are they actually sticking with this? I'm not sure if they're actually going to stick with this. Yeah, as I say, they had a Torbjorn there for no reason. We did see how that worked out for AlphaCast just before on Numbani, so he's not going to be sticking with it this time. But let's see, what are they going to line up with defensively? They have D-Gun on the Junkrat, which is a very smart pick. Pretty standard, I guess, across the line for the side here of France. And on the side of Norway, Average Jonas, he's sitting on Widowmaker. I don't know if he's going to be sticking with that, but they have a Widowmaker, they have a Hanzo, and I'm assuming most likely they're definitely going to be switching these. I mean, Badger, there we go. Yeah, Badger, I mean, I expect him to see more on a Zarya role, which is what he normally sort of does for B-Fly. I don't think Horsey plays this. Bit of a shame, though, as he does have the nice skin. But, I mean, defensively here, like you said, we're going to see D-Gun on the Junkrat, which, I mean, can work really, really well. Well, we saw Tvik use it in their match. Of course, the Swedes were very strong in this map. Or it can kind of get shut down a little bit early by things like Genji and Pharah, even to a degree, which we know that Junkrat has some problems dealing with the airborne hero in Pharah. So we'll see how D-Gun manages to make this one happen. Of course, we're going to have the Pharah Mercy combination here as well, and a Concussive Blast goes over towards the edge to try and knock people down. Already, Average Jonas is going into this fight, taking a bit of damage, but actually causing a lot of disarray, and that's kind of what you want to achieve at this stage. The crew going to come in from the backside. Didn't have enough bullets in the chamber to finish Horsey off with one fan the hammer, and now has to try and deal with Envision. Backing away, getting some health. This point, though, is being contested currently here, so we do need to see crew eventually respond to this threat up on the point. Envision is still alive. He's still causing problems. Now he's trying to chase after Kitty, and nice timing on the reflect to get the finish off. He's going to go down, though, to the remote mine out of D-Gun. But the fight's still going on here for Norway. They have not given up on this point. You still have Onigod and Torb still here, still battling out. Torb is actually about to hit his ultimate, which is going to be very important. And Nox is going to be dropped by Onigod, and we might have seen a first attack successful push out of Norway. Yeah, you saw a good example of why Junkrat struggles against Pharah there just beforehand as Nox, so it was D-Gun that went down to that one. I think they're going to leave the point here. There's not much chance of really contesting. D-Gun had Riptire available. We're going to make the immediate switch towards May just to secure this one up. And yes, the point will go into control of Team Norway. Good opening for them here. See some players you may not have seen before. Rest assured, they have oodles of competitive experience. Oodles. That's a great word. Great. D-Gun on May now. Switching over, we did see him actually play May against Portugal just before, and it worked out relatively well, where they ended up holding on to this first point with just, the entire time, actually, the second one, sorry. In the meantime, D-Gun's fighting Average Jonas in towards the back, trying to keep him, annoyed for now, as Envision's been able to pick up double kill, and even a res to come in. Yeah, that's right. Now the Dragon Blade will be available for him, but you can see him just waiting on that one now as well to stop any respawns from coming in. This is a dominant display from the Norwegian side right now. Onigod, well, it's going to be crew coming in and trying to stall out, and we sort of expect to see that happen. You got to allow for a diva to get onto towards the point if she's got that defensive matrix, but still,
Norway staying alive on this point. Nox needs to try and whittle their numbers down, and Digon going to come in with the Blizzard here, hoping to catch some people in. A couple ice spikes to the dome should settle the deal. Only God gets a shield at just the right time, and Digon's not able to finish off with the final shot. He may be in trouble here, though, but he gets into the backline and deals with Trop. Or doesn't finish the job, though, interestingly enough there. The Transcendence healing managed to keep that Mercy alive. That might really come back to hurt the French side here now. Aggression continuing, though. Nox going in. Envision as well, trying to stay alive, reflecting as many shots, but I think the French may have just held on here.
Oh, there's going to be a second res out of Trop here. He's going for a second fight. The Earthshot as well across the 3 men who just got rezzed up, and that will be the wipe coming through. France has held on, even that looked very grim for them, but got to give credit to Digon just to stay alive for the most part, to keep it contested, and eventually help pick up 1 kill, which turns into 2, which turns into eventually a full team wipe. So France, good job by them to actually maintain, but Norway putting the pressure on most importantly here. They're definitely not letting France get away with this game easily.
Trop did so well to stay alive through most of that fight as well. Obviously, as Mercy, you don't need line of sight to resurrect people. You can sit behind a wall and set that kind of play up. But still, got 2 reses off in the one fight there in such a chaotic scenario. Very well played to him. Now, Envision comes in. Only guy with an ultimate. It's the Dragon Blade there for him. Although a barrage will be forthcoming for Only God. In fact, in the next couple seconds, we'll give it to him now. There comes the wall up, though. There's Wall. Nox going in very, very deep, and now it's going to respond here with the barrage. Comes in. Mikolo actually manages to survive that for the most part. Now backing away. Blizzard comes on towards a point. This is going to help out here in Crew just to try and shut things down, but Crew falls. It was actually Horsey to pick him off from long range there with an orb just flung in his general direction. It works out well. Discord now on towards Mikolo. The shield removes that one, of course. Bear that in mind. Allows him also to prevent the damage coming in from Horsey. The man tries to stand up, but unfortunately the Omnic Monk will not be enough.
Does he actually stand, though? The Omnic Monk?
I mean, he stands for something. You know, might not be able to stand up, but you can stand for something, especially an Omnic Monk. You know, he stands for peace, he stands for justice, and he stands for, I don't know, aesthetic balls with jewels in them and stuff. You know, that's just kind of his hang-ups.
So Digon actually put up a wall right when Average Jonas was pretty much overextended to the point where he didn't have his team with him, and he caught the wall. Like you see on Hanamura, he was able to get the charge onto him as well. But then at more importantly, the Blizzard he put down actually separate the entire team. You had Badger go in by himself with the shield so he wouldn't get frozen up. The rest of his team was sitting too far back to reinforce him. And from that alone, France was able to snowball that fight in their favor. So Digon playing this May really well, especially with these tight areas.
The Graviton Surge is going to come in now as well, but there's so many defensive ults to defend against that one and prevent the damage being done there. Only God can't get much done from the sky, so now Crew going to come in with the flashbang. Envision, though, caught around the little side, managed to pick him up with a bit of damage, and now he's not being focused. Mikolo needs to address this threat right now, but he might struggle. Has to shield himself up, has to back away. Nox there, lays down the Earthshadow, going to make it work here, but Only God up on high. No one is there to contest him right now. He's left to his own devices and able to do damage until Crew makes his entrance. He picks up the Pharaoh in midair, but Envision again making a nuisance of himself, always coming in from the side, and eventually Norway will be able to pacify the French presence on that point. They'll take the second there with 3 minutes and 13 seconds left in the bank.
I think that actually could have been a hold on France for a little bit longer, because Digon put a Blizzard down which caught 2 people. It caught Badger and it caught Average Jonas. And with that, Nox, instead of just attacking him and killing him with just the swings with his own Reinhardt, he actually Earth Shatters Average Jonas, even though he couldn't move anyways because he was frozen. And from that, with only hitting 1 person on an Earth Shatter when you want to hit multiples, if he could have saved it for later, could have been a big turning point. Could actually bought a lot of time, and not to mention a lot of kills for him. So a little bit of a misplay for France, but then again, you look at it as, you know, you kind of have to use everything you possibly can in any given second, considering you're on the second point anyways, and you've lost out on so many men. But just that one little tweak might have held on a little bit longer, but Norway able to complete the map where Portugal didn't. And now let's see what they can put up on defense here. They're not running a Junkrat this time, at the moment at least, as they still have Onigod on Pharah.
Defensive Pharah definitely can work, of course. I mean, you can put a lot of... I mean, you fulfill a similar role to Junkrat, I guess, if you're spamming towards the choke points there, and the splash damage is obviously going to be quite helpful for whittling people down, while people like Crew, and or Digon, should I say, in this case, go in and get the job done. So Crew back on Pharah here, potentially on the attacking side. Worked out really, really well for these guys, I feel, at least, on Numbani. The combo of Crew and Digon definitely will manage to cut open the Portuguese side there quite comfortably. So definitely need to be having your wits about you if you are Norway. Although it seems like pound for pound they stuck up a little bit more evenly against this French roster. I think Only God and Envision causing a lot of problems. Obviously Badger has quite a lot of experience there. And we already talked about Trop, keeping himself safe when he needed to. Some nice reses coming in just to keep his team topped up and fighting away.
I would imagine with the lineup that currently France is running, like with no McCree, Onigod doesn't have really too much threat onto him. It's just whether or not Trob's going to stick with them, get an extra healing and damage boost, and Horsey can actually keep the rest of the team alive in the meantime. And you're going to see a couple of shots that are being thrown out as Onigod takes down Alpha Cast. You know what? Let's make a deal here, Uber. Let's not let Alpha live that one down when he gets into the office on Monday.
I'm sure we can remind him of that. I'm sure it's pretty pertinent to him. So straight away, Crew switches off Pharah. Right, so you want to deal with Onigod there as well. Crew's not interested in trying to out Pharah Mercy, the Pharah Mercy combo as it were. I think Kitty's not even playing Mercy, so it was actually just a solo Pharah there. Fair enough. They're going to press forward though either way, and Nox goes straight over the top there. He's wasting no time in trying to rattle the cage here of the Norwegian side. Nox is forced to back away though as well, and just gets out alive very, very close. But in the meantime, Envision is cutting a swath through the rest of the French side. Kitty and Crew already falling to his hand. Miklo not far behind. A very solid hold for Norway. They set their feet. They make a statement. They say, we are ready for you.
Crew switch over to actually Tracer. So he went for Pharah, went to McCree, and now he's on Tracer. So they're trying to be really quick about this hit. He's looking to even get behind them potentially. The problem is he's have 150 HP. If you take a direct rocket while being damaged at by Mercy, it's going to be a one-shot, and that's going to be an easy kill and a man down here for Francis. Even pushing straight through, picks up 3 quick kills, and Vision gets a double, Onigod gets 1, and Francis falling yet again.
Yeah, very scary stuff from Onigod there as well.
Ooh.
Look at the direct hits on towards D-Gun. Oh my lord. Having to back away there as well. Quickly, at least able to get out with the dash. But this Pharah ferociously defending this point. A very appropriate, obviously, hero choice for this map, and it's working out very nicely for Norway. That's what's most important here. 2 minutes 30 remain on the clock here for the French side to at least get the first point. Then we can start thinking about the second. But now, again, it's Nox going straight on in. We see the attempt to knock Nox off the edge with the concussive blast, not really working out, and they do a good job of corralling Nox into the side room and just managing to burst him down with the damage. AlphaCast is knocked to the ground, and Badger comes in to try and clean things up. Trob as well with the res over the top for good measure here, and a Vision that's going to put him back on his feet on this McCree. Now Dragonblade comes in from D-Gun. He was actually stunned up in that one. He goes down to 10 health. Can't follow up there because Onigod chased him down with a rocket. Another hold here for Norway. Looking ice cold.
Yeah, but if you're D-Gun there, you'll take that because he didn't lose his ultimate. He got flashbang out of the middle of it when he would have died anyways. So he actually keeps it, maintains it. Actually a win for him in the long run. But the way that you saw France attack, they jumped directly onto that middle platform, and Norway just responded by going to the closed quarter room towards the left. So they actually try to pull them in. Instead, France responds by going directly onto the point and eventually losing that fight.
Well, D-Gun going in as well, trying to deal with the 2 of them, but of course one slash to the blade is enough to damage 2 people, and Envision falls to D-Gun, but now the Earthshatter comes in. That's got to hurt. It's going to be Average Jonas now, causing some problems on the point, but the sound barrier going to make it much harder to fell these French foes of his. Yes, he will fall ultimately, and France, well, they finally get the point there as well. A bit of a messy one, the Earthshatter coming in there towards the end. For Average Jonas, though, not really getting the result he would have looked for.
And now the Crew is going to have a Pulse Bomb. Miklo's getting close to a Graviton Surge. And if you can catch Trob in this combo, they don't have the res, and you have a good potential to actually cap this point really quickly, too. You can see Miklo trying to already get some percent. Crew just trying to stall off towards the side, needs to get healed up a little bit more. And they're actually trying to attack from the right, which allows Miklo to push him from the front, and this may well not be as effective as it normally would.
Now we still saw Crew sneak past that one there as well. Now he gets on towards the point. D-Gun also trying to, well, just get some damage down. These 2 damage dealers here for France have a lot of work to do, and when Envision comes in with a flash, it's going to be pretty tricky to hang around after the fact. Nice little ice spike there from Onigod to finish the job on towards Crew. This man, very experienced over a multitude of different heroes. This May coming out now will be important in the next few moments. Something you've been dabbling in a fair bit lately as well, Jason.
I dabble. A little bit. Most importantly, I think France, you saw them attack, they didn't waste any ults. They just went in, they tried to force Norway to use their own. But Crew saved his Pulse Bomb, and that's probably the most important thing you have to kind of take away from that fight. They're looking for that combo, the Graviton Surge Pulse Bomb, and just wait for the right opportunity to make this one work. And there you can see, pulling in 4 people, looking for the Pulse Bomb to come in as well. The Transcendence can do anything for that, but Crew doesn't connect onto anything. I'm not sure where the Pulse Bomb actually went.
Yeah, not really sure. Maybe got eaten up. Oh, I don't really know. Honestly, no clue. Kitty now is forced to back away. Badger fully charged up and ready to rumble, chase him down. AlphaCast gets on towards Horsey here, but again, he's just trying to keep this one in stasis. Probably should look at Crew as well, who was helping him out. It's just the Lucio and the Tracer making it happen. Trob comes in for another, I guess, a resurrect there as well. He's happy to use them whenever possible, I think. And Crew dodges away, now trying to deal with Envision, but no, it's going to be the flash. Too good for the Tracer player, and now a lot of ultimates ticking up on the Norway side.
And most importantly, Trob got the res and still it didn't die. Like, this man has been able to get these reses without being killed off the back of that, which is so much more important than most of you out there would really think, because obviously you can get the extra healing, you get the extra ult percent, and the extra damage you can do, and it also puts too much pressure on your other healer, which basically turns into a solo healing comp, which, as we know, Zenyatta can't AoE heal that well unless he does have Transcendence up. But Envision, let's go to him really quickly, because he's been actually Maywall boosted up into a prime position. This Deta that's going to come out of him is going to be deadly.
Yeah, the only way, if you ever see McCree up here, you know it's artificial. You know he can't get up there himself, obviously. And it's not a position you expect as well. So Envision going to give himself away. Like, it's pretty clear now to the French that he is sort of set up there. But what can they really do about it? Gizzy Horsey just going to go 1v1 Mikolo there as well. AlphaCast does drop the beat. He does drop the sound barrier, but there's so much there as well for the side of Norway, should I say. There's going to be a Blizzard coming down. Only God sets that one up and then just leaves it unattended as he's got bigger fish to fry, or freeze, as it were. Coming forward now. Going to be able to deal with Nox easily enough. It will at least try. Switching over towards the Reinhardt earlier on. Nox hoping to make a difference here, but unfortunately, that hasn't been the deal breaker here. Norway still holding so solidly.
But Deegan did a really good job there because he actually killed Traub. He was 1v2 against Traub and Envision, so the Mercy and the McCree takes down Traub, but the problem is he does off the back of that, and the most of his team was already dead at that rate. There was a little bit of an overlap, actually, in the French lineup between support ultimates. The Sound Barrier plus the Transcendence being used within the Graviton Surge is a major waste. So Norway, I guess, realizing that, were able to actually capitalize off the back of mismanaged ultimates out of France and still maintain the point. 2 minutes left on the clock here. They're actually below the time bank that Norway does have. And this is looking good if you're from Norway here.
Again, Mikolo comes in, forced to jump over the top of this. The Earthshatter comes in from Nox pretty timely, if I may say so. This is going to force a lot of ultimates out of the Norwegian side, but it's not seeming to be enough at this stage. Crew there gets on towards Envision now. The path is a little bit more clear for him to go, but he's going to be caught in the Blizzard here easily enough. He has to back away here from Average Jonas, who is not going to give him any space at all. Average Jonas eventually stunned up. Crew forced to back away, but the Reinhardt is indomitable in his pressure coming forward. A lot of ults used there by Norway, but I mean, that Blizzard definitely seemed to just completely mess with France's plans.
Not to mention, Kitty has actually switched over to Mercy in that last fight. He's up to 70% on Ultimate, and Deegan has recently just switched over to Reaper, so they're trying to deal with, I guess, the tanky lineup. Badger just doesn't seem to be dying too much in these fights. They lose Average Jonas, and yeah, they're maybe able to pick up a kill on a Traub or Envision, but everyone else is just staying alive a little bit too long. But these last-minute switches means they're not going to have ultimates ready. Deegan won't have his Death Blossom within the next 30 seconds. He needs to kind of power it up quickly and look for that last fight.
Good charge coming in there as well. Nox just trying to make things happen, but it's cut down by Badger. Mikolo just wants to try and isolate here. The Zenyatta, of course, it's poor Horsey now being knocked away. Can't quite escape. It's going to be a fist that comes through the doorway to take him out. But Mikolo, no teammates left for him. He's just got to run away. Only got hot on the heels, just trying to make sure no one really gets to run away and heal up here. Going to force some auto-res in. Or spawn in, as it were. 36 seconds left here in France. This is probably the biggest challenge we've seen them face so far, and it seems as if they're maybe not up to the task here on Temple of Anubis.
And Oniga in that last fight killed both supports. Like, he killed Kitty before he got res off. He killed AlphaCast at the end as well. Like, that should never happen. And Mei shouldn't be allowed to go kill your supports. When you need that strong front line, you need to start picking up some kills, because this is your last attack. This is the last chance you have to go here. They have both support ultimates ready and perfect to be used. But the thing is, they don't have a counter to the Graviton Surge. They don't have a Transcendence.
Well, Envision now going to try and get a Deadeye from the cover, I guess, the safety of the little brick stack. Gets on towards two, he finds AlphaCast and Mikolo, and that, to be fair, should be enough there. Kitty doesn't have a Resurrect available in this fight. It was expended elsewhere, or perhaps not even used at the right time. So, just has to try and keep Crew alive as much as she possibly can, and she's doing pretty well. Crew somehow still hanging around for this fight. Mikolo gets on towards Only God here, and Crew now free to shoot rockets down onto the direction of Badger, but Trub's still there. Finally, Envision comes back in, possibly saves the day even for Norway, as the first order of business is to pick up Crew. Nox falls not long after, and now the Blizzard coming in from Only Good should seal the deal. Deegan knows there's not much he can do. He accepts his fate. And now France must accept this first map loss. Norway coming out of the gates very strong on Temple of Anubis.
Traub is just playing out of his mind. Him and Average Jonas there. So Traub, so Kitty rezzed after the Graviton Surge to get like 2 people up, and then he got away. But more importantly, Traub came back in with the res himself, and he was in the middle of the team. He was literally right next to Nox, and Nox was already swinging away at him, but Average Jonas put down an Earthshatter that knocked Nox on his butt, and from that, Traub was able to run away. Honestly, some great synergy between him and his tank. But in general, Traub he just doesn't die easily. Like, even here, I'm assuming he won't die. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, with the amount of chaos that's been caused on that point, nicely done there by Traub.
I mean, you just see a little bit of a difference though. Like, Deegan, he tried to focus Traub a couple of times. He killed him once, but Envision was there to protect him with McCree, so it was really hard to pull off a 1v2. But the amount of times Onigod was able to get into the back lines and kill both supports, like, over and over and over again, like, that should not happen. And you can see the difference in focus, I think, between the two teams. Or at least maybe just the ability to make strats like that work. I don't know. Obviously, when you're attacking, it's a lot harder to hit the support line when you don't have, like, a Genji or Tracer, but to allow an enemy Mei to walk through your team is something that shouldn't happen.
I mean, we're looking now at our Scandinavian teams. I mean, for Denmark, I think they've had to forfeit a couple games. I don't know if they managed to get their team sort of sorted. Iceland's actually doing quite well, but I mean, the Scandinavian trifecta of Norway, Sweden, Finland, very, very scary.
Yeah.
Some of just the strongest nations in Overwatch right now are really flexing their muscles. And even Norway, which maybe you'd look at the team, and if you're sort of not super deep into Overwatch esports in Europe, maybe wouldn't recognize some of the players. But these guys, while maybe haven't, achieving big accolades and having played LANs as a team, these guys are very, very good at what they do. And now, we talked about the French lineup. It does have a core of pro players around it, but probably half the team are probably not those kind of players that do sit and scrim for 8 to 10 hours a day. They're not super drilled, and maybe they're just not super used to the role they're being put in some cases, and that can be the difference in a lot of these games. Whereas, everyone on the Norwegian side does currently play in a pro team, and to my understanding, they do practice fairly hard.
And even then, like, just because even if you have 6 players who all play competitively, it doesn't mean you all play well together. Like, you have to kind of meld on a different level if you want to be like one of the best teams. Like, for instance, you can't take literally the 6 best players in Overwatch, put them on a team, and have them be a top team. That's just not how it works. There's stuff that goes beyond that. The interpersonal kind of connections you have with your teammates. Even just like casting, you have to have like a partner you can trust, and so that you've known for a while, have a good relationship with them to be a good pair, just like you need to have the same to be a good team.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of these teams, a lot of the Scandinavian players, more so between Sweden and Finland, have sort of played before. When we talked about seeing the team with IDDQD was captain, we said it was a bit of an IDDQD, reformation, I guess, or
him and Tvik.
Yeah. Seeing those two play together again, a lot of those guys from those regions have a good understanding of each other.
And Coco, actually. Yeah.
Coco was on the team, yeah. So, I mean, that's just something to take into account. A lot of these guys have played together before, and that because those regions were the ones that they knew each other already. Players from TF2 and games prior to that, not quite IDDQD, but some others, already knew each other because they were played in local LANs together and they sort of grew up in their same scenes. People come into Overwatch and realize that Overwatch is a revival of sorts for a lot of players from a lot of games in the past. Things like Dirty Bomb, things like Shoot Mania, things like Quake even to a degree, and of course Team Fortress 2 not to be missed out on that list. So there are existing relationships coming into this game between players and local regions and the like. But Eichenwalde, going to be moving on to this one. Interesting map to say the very least here. It's a tough one for attackers. That last point is quite difficult, but perhaps we can cross that bridge when we get to it here as we'll see what the defenders are setting up with. We'll see Badger actually on the May to start things off here, interestingly enough. So only God wants to play that Pharah. So, I mean, this first choke point, Jason, really is quite tricky to push through. This is all you get to work with. You can flank around the side as, excuse me for the camera work, by the way, I'm just trying to illustrate. You can flank around the side over the top of the buildings, I think, as sort of a Pharah or something similar, but it's quite tricky to do. So most of the time you need to brute force your way through this point. Bringing a May into the situation, providing she can stay alive and avoid the poke coming from the other side of that bridge, can put up a wall and can disrupt people, can also, single out that one player that goes too far forward like we see on maps like Hanamura.
For me, it's more about Onigod here, because there's a lot of pressure on this man. The fact that he's got now D-Gun and Crew and Nox to worry about, who can all get over this wall, get over the buildings to actually challenge out on them, it's going to be... Oh, Alpha crashed, apparently. What I was going to say was, it's really hard to... Who's the owner of the lobby?
One of the Norwegians, I think.
We'll see.
I don't
know if he knows the button. There we go. Yeah, so it's really hard if you're playing the solo Pharah here on the defense to actually stop 3 people who can jump over the wall and get on point immediately. Because obviously your attention is going to turn towards those 3, and they have a lot of survivability with a Genji and a Pharah and a Winston to protect them. So it's going to be really tough if they continue to actually stick with this roster.
A defining factor might also be again Envision on that McCree. See what he can sort of do, of course, to Crew and Kitty coming over the top. And we saw that, as soon as Crew saw that Envision was playing McCree on that first point on Temple of Anubis, he immediately switched off of Pharah, then to McCree, then to Tracer, just trying to make it work. Crew, though, is the kind of player who will switch really, really quickly. Like, it doesn't take much convincing to make him switch, as he's sort of confident doing that. I mean, not quite the same context, obviously, we're looking at here, but I mean, that might be a factor.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen France be more willing to adapt than Norway to comps. And, I mean, Onigod, he's played, what, Pharah? He's played May. Did he play Junkrat? I feel like he didn't play Junkrat. He played Pharah and May for the most part.
Playing Junkrat on defense.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think I've seen enough of this map to like kind of gauge who's going to be really good or bad, or strategies that are good or bad. I just know that you can get over the buildings, and anyone that's mobile that can do it causes a big pain if you're on the defending side.
That's why attacking teams often want Genji and Pharah in the same vein. You can come from behind or even less sort of predictable angles on those two heroes. So definitely wise to keep an eye on this. I also enjoyed this, by the way. Apparently, right?
Sombra?
This is near... What about Sombra? No, apparently this is near Stuttgart. There you go. Which is also where Reinhardt's from. So there's got to be some relation to him. But this is the battle plans that the Crusaders actually laid down when they tried to retake Eichenwalde, I think. Or defend it, as it were. Which is kind of the story behind this map. That's why the dead suit of armor in the final room is the commander of the... yeah, so... Interestingly...
So you're saying there's more than one Reinhardt?
Well, I mean, I think the Crusaders, they were a group of people that looked like that, if I'm not mistaken. Schnell, I don't know what Einsatz is. Fast something group. Germans in chat will be able to tell me. Yeah, sorry, they are long words. That is a standard word length in German, by the way.
Say it.
Gebirgsinfanteriebataillon? I don't know. Honestly.
We live in Germany, and we've seen words even longer than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like standard,
Okay.
because they don't like use hyphens or spaces for compound words. They just bang them all together, which is fine. So you just got to break it up and understand it. Anyway, enough about the German language, as nice as it is. Same team comps here, so nothing super different coming into the mix. We didn't really get to see anything at the start of last map to give us an indication of what we should be expecting. But again,
horrific.
we should be expecting aggression. Nox is going to lead from the front. We know that he likes to jump on in. I'm curious to see how France want to navigate this first choke point. That's going to be very curious.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. It's more about them than more the defense and how they're going to dive. You can see Crew again, immediately going in towards the back, as we'd expect. It looks like, though, Deegan's not going to be joining him. I'm getting a little stuttering. I'm not sure if you're getting that on your side at all. But meantime, they're already looking on towards the point. They've actually been able to bypass this entire choke point alone with the help of Deegan.
Yeah, Crew actually kills the Envision in the end there as well. So we didn't really get to see the outplays. We wanted to see what else was going on here. And of course, you can see that Nox can cause some problems for Pharah, but while she's being healed by Mercy, it's not really enough damage. Nox probably dies here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he should go down, realistically. As eventually we can expect Onigod to hit this shot. Crew now as well has to deal with that Winston. Does pick him up. So nice, the outplay between Crew and Envision probably won this point here for the French side now. Pressuring on towards Onigod, couple shurikens coming in. Crew just dashing straight on through, and now Badger is going to be letting go with the Blizzard. AlphaCast is caught. His ice spiked in the head there, but again, a little bit tougher to hit some of these airborne targets when you have to lead. And the Dragon Blade coming in for Crew now. Who's he looking for? Looking for the Mercy. That might be good, because you know what Trob's going to try and do on this point. Get his charge up and get the Resurrect, but it's not to be. It's not going to happen. And now Icewall comes up in front of Crew. That's going to prevent him from moving any further. Onigod can still reinforce this point, though. The barrage comes out instantly, but he's not going to get enough done. Deegan even manages to survive that particular onslaught until Average Jonas comes in and picks him up. Stall, stall, stall is the name of the game right now, and there's not really enough damage on the point to actually deal with this Winston quickly enough, so he could do this for quite some time. Still alive, still alive, still alive, and the rest of the defensive team are going to be able to come in and do something about this.
Well, they're trying, but Nox is actually knocking the way as they're trying to get through that building, so he's actually buying a lot more time for the rest of his team to take down Average Jonas, who still has not died somehow on this Winston. He's actually relatively healthy now, as there's 2 kills coming in for Norway. Onigod's trying to respond as the rest is finally coming out of Kitty. The Blizzard being thrown down as well, and Onigod, he's just not able to catch a shot onto Kitty or onto anyone at this rate.
That's right. Deegan now struggling to deal with that particular combo. He doesn't really have his pocket heals with him right now. Trop actually not on the point, but does have Resurrect, so that might be important. Trop should be here in just a moment, and now Deegan trying to hit those air shots and gets Average Jonas as he comes on down. Now he should be able to pressure away. It's going to be Norway, forced to give ground here and back up. Ice Wall comes up. That's going to allow Badger to at least get onto the point and contest, and there comes the res. Not a moment too soon there. Definitely about as late as it could have been while they kept the point.
Something about the defensive respawn is just insane how quickly you can get back sometimes. Because they defended that with like one person for such a long time. Average Jonas, so he was Primal Rage, he was just jumping around trying to buy time. And then Onigod came in, Onigod died, but not before taking 1 or 2 people with him. And then it was just kind of like a slow, well, really slow snowball in the end in favor of Norway, who now have to kind of take stock of things in ultimates. Miklo Crew, how much you want to bet that combo is going to wipe out the majority of Norway here?
Well, it's pretty much the nasty burst combo we're all looking to see. Let's see if Crew lays that pulse bomb down. He does, and actually doesn't really do a heck of a lot. No, Average Jonas was caught in the mix.
Because they got Horse, who Transcendence, they had Primal Rage out of Average Jonas, and then they had Badger, who just ice prismed himself. You didn't get a single kill with that. Oh my god, that's unfortunate.
Well, Kitty gets the res up at least, so that means Crew gets a second bite of the apple here, but doesn't really get to use the pulse bomb. But it gets on towards Onigod here. This could be good. Deegan as well from long range goes in with a barrage and gets the kill. My god, this has been a great defensive effort coming out from the side of Norway. They are keeping France on their toes. They finally get the point, but they almost ran out of time just trying to get it.
Yeah, 3 minutes left to go now to push this payload even towards the door of the castle. And Crew is actually really aggressive here by himself as Envision's looking for the shot, and looks like he's not going to have the opportunity for now, but this is even where Fair is more effective. That's where we're seeing Deegan switch over to Fair himself, having to kind of, or not switch over, but kind of maintain the Fair, because they need that in this position for some sort of high ground control. Problem is, he's got a McCree to worry about Envision, and that's going to make his life really hard.
Crew wants to challenge this high ground as well. He'd love to get just an easy in and drop the pulse bomb and get out there as well, but Only God just going to smash him there as well with a damage boosted rocket. They definitely do hurt. And now that high ground, very important, of course, for Norway to hold on to here. But they're eventually going to have to start a fight here because Nox trying to keep himself safe going down. Badger actually steps onto the point, and so does Average Jonas. But Nox, that's very cheeky from Nox. He goes topside once the big tanky front line goes down. He tries to get past them and try and find a squishy target in the back line. Hasn't found it yet, but should have it here as well. Picks up Horsey, pulse bomb there as well. Again, coming out from Crew, doesn't find its mark. He stays alive long enough, though, to put a considerable amount of damage down on towards Badger. In fact, finishing him off here. The fighting is going quite well for France on this last point. Crew, I think that was a shot coming in from Envision from behind or something similar, as yes, the man himself is going for the Deadeye. Gets himself on towards Alpha Cast, but just the one kill. Kitty came through, did have res, but died with it there as well, so this might slow the French down considerably.
Yeah, Onigod, he actually took out D-Gun 1v2.
Oh.
He took out D-Gun 1v2 with a couple of direct rockets, and from that, Kitty was forced back to the payload and didn't have, I guess, a good position for the res. Like, he had it up for quite a long time, but he didn't bother to use it just yet. And now we're seeing Crew switch over to the McCree because D-Gun, he's making the call out that, guys, I can't deal with Envision and Onigod. It's just it's too hard to kind of fight against that when they have double damage and we can't out heal it. And Crew's already able to pop a quick headshot off.
Nox goes in, Nox goes out there. Just a little bit of early damage being done, trying to split people up with the knockback from the jump there. That's why he lands there as well. Good little primer rage goes in, and Nox able to keep the problems going. Yes, Envision falls down the edge. That's a great pick off there. Getting rid of the McCree in that fashion is just perfect. You won the lotto essentially if you are that Winston in that case. Good little bit of damage going down on towards Trop there, but he's able to go back and get the res regardless. Still, Nox goes in. Transcendence now being forced out. So much fighting on this map, it's ridiculous. Envision, he's going to come back in. He is not going to get rezzed up at all as he fell off the edge and wasn't actually killed. There's no corpse to reanimate. D-Gun pressuring now. A little bit of damage on towards Average Jonas to get the job done, and now wants to find Badger. He gets him. France grinding through such a messy fight. But they'll even be able to pick off Envision with the long-range rockets. Nicely done by D-Gun. Now he can set down some suppressive fire in towards the right side building, but we'll have to deal with his opposite number in Onigod here, who went very low.
It's actually Onigod's kind of flanking behind them. He's really out of position, but Deacon's going to continue to just shoot missiles through this tightly closed area. And Norway's going to go out for one last defense altogether to try to maintain this position. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock here, and Urshad's going to come in. It's only going to hit onto Nox mostly, and he's going to charge back to enemy team, and Onigod is just trying to stay alive for the hell of it.
Yeah, he did well, actually. Gets two kills and gets out. Trop falls. No mercy available there as well, but Onigod is still close by. He actually comes back up behind and gets the damage done. Kitty goes down, so both teams trade mercies, and that's going to be a hold here for Norway. There's not much France are going to be able to do about it now. They've run out of time. It's too far to walk back towards the payload in 5 seconds. It could be a desperate leap up top side, but Envision goes in with a Deadeye as well. Gets on towards Alpha Cast just to slow it down. Nox falls through a flash, can't get to the point. Only 1 point accrued here for France on Eichenwalde. Not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most defensively sided payload map in the game, though.
Yes,
so
I agree.
Obviously it's going to be going, or should ideally go the way of the defending team, but also have to give credit to like Onigod. Him and Envision played that so well, and Torb on top of that. Like I can't find a single fault within the entire lineup of Norway and how they held that first point, because they dragged it out. Like, I feel like the fight went on for like 2-3 minutes. It was insane after they already actually had the point being touched, and it was in contention for such a long time. Yeah, everyone played well. Like, I cannot think of a single person. Maybe there was like some small misplays with fun off the castle. Maybe like Average Jonas dropped down a little bit too early and when Nox came up, but they held nonetheless. So even that slight maybe mistake still worked out for them.
Norway are looking in a good spot right now. You take the first map pretty convincingly, might I add, and now you're in a position where you know what your goal needs to be on the attacking side. So you're probably pretty satisfied now. It's nice to have a defined, well, yeah, objective, essentially.
Wait, did you say the Crusaders were trying to take Stuttgart?
No, they were holding. No, they were holding in the castle. That's why he dies in the throne room, right?
Because Omnic's like coming.
Yeah. So maybe this is supposed to be Stuttgart in the future.
Maybe.
There you go. Southern Germany.
Definitely doesn't look like that now, though.
No.
Oh, wow, actually look over here.
Nice city. I like
so if you, I can just do this. Watch this. Look over there. I didn't even notice like the giant,
the big Omnic.
So yeah, this is like obviously after the fight, but this is in the cutscene, right, with Bastion.
I think this was quite long after the fight, though. Yeah, but nothing. You don't. That was probably the fight that Bastion was in, though. I don't know, man. Really, I don't know. No idea. But anyway, what I do know is that we have a defensive lineup to look at, and Michelo's going to be on the Roadhog here, so maybe that's the more interesting part. It's triple tank here. Michelo on Roadhog, Crew on Zarya, Nox on Winston, full defensive mode. Just a weird team comp though,
They don't
Jason.
have a Reinhardt to actually hold this front area, but with the way they're defending, I think they're not even going to try to hold this first choke.
This is bizarre. This is just a bizarre team comp. I don't understand. Look at everyone going around the side. Hello? Oh my lord there. The perfect team composition to get this kind of flank going. In Norway, they could close this one out here as well. If France aren't ready for this, it's going to be so nasty. At least now they start to see some of those people pouring it over the top. It has to be a quick response though from the Frenchmen now to realize they've been flanked, they've been duped, the wall's been pulled over their eyes. Well, now they need to do the fighting. The hard part still remains to be taken care of here. Badger takes down Michelo and Vision falls though. That's a decent start for Nox finding obviously that Genji. It's a fairly tanky lineup for the Frenchmen, but now self-destruct's going to come in on towards the point. Will we catch anyone? Not at this stage. An average Jonas though trying to zone people outside the building doesn't really work out. Now he turns on over towards Zarya. Crew still very healthy as a result though, and Nox getting those airborne targets. Nox has killed both Envision and Onigod coming forward on this Winston.
Yeah, the fight is still raging here. As you see, the Prime Rage coming out of Average Jonas. The reinforcements are finally coming out of Envision, but look at the ultimates online for France. They currently have 4 ready to go. And Norway even switching, well, they switched 1 hero. Now they switched 2 now as Badger's gone over to the D.Va to the Zarya. So they've lost a little bit of ult %, but a really cheeky play on them. A really cheeky start to come around that side to actually catch out the entirety of France. And you can definitely tell Norway's been practicing this map.
Only got now on the McCree, and Vision going to be playing the Reaper, but look at the ults that were managed to be accrued there in that last fight. Oh, it's disgusting! The barrage comes in there from D-Gun. That really is going to hurt. Gets 3 kills. Michelo gets 1 as well. That should be pretty much a wipe you committed yourself to at this stage. Sound Barrier comes in for AlphaCast just to make sure the job is done properly. Rez as well comes in for Kitty just to keep the French standing here. Even after the huge burst coming out at the start, they were committed to those 2 defensive ults just to make sure they didn't lose. That's the margin of error right now for the French side. So slim.
So with Onigod actually losing air control because he's gone over to the McCree, it's given Deegan a lot of free control. I mean, obviously he's going to have to watch out for Onigod in the shots, but with the amount of scenery around this area, with the amount of buildings you can hide behind as a fair, you're not too worried about him. But the entirety of Norway are going to be grouping up. They have the die. They have that Death Blossom out of Envision if you can just get the position to use it. And both Mercies don't have res, which is the important factor. If you die, you're dead, and you're not coming back alive unless this fight extends for quite a long time.
People die when they are killed, Jason. It is a sad thing. Nox going to go into the backside there as well, looking for Onigod and co. A little bit of damage spread across. This might just be enough here. Look at how he scatters Norway to the 4 wins. And in the chaos, D-Gun and Michelo are free to do so much damage. Deadeye coming in from Onigod. What can he salvage from this? Nothing. Nothing at all. Very, very strong, very Bulldog-esque defense coming out from the French roster. Now leaving Norway scrabbling for options with just over a minute left in this match.
Yeah, but now they have Earth Shatter, they have the Death Blossom. They're going to have a res too. Kitty is actually a little bit behind, but I would imagine he's going to have it online this fight in the midst of it, so we need someone to catch out on this. Onigon's gone back to the Pharah. He's gone away from the McCree. They need to deal with Deegan in the air, and they don't have to worry about a McCree to actually do much back to him. So this is actually looking for a good fight, but Crew again has Graviton Surge. Are you serious?
And, of course, the barrage available for D-Guns. That's just what they need. The French are doing such a great job of accruing those key ultimates for these fights when they need them. It's maybe every other fight they've seemed to have them. Great hold from them as well. We didn't expect to see this from them at all. 40 seconds remain now. Trob, well, he didn't really have a chance to use that res. If it was available for him at the time, he definitely wasn't alive to use it. So now, one last push. Earthshatter is there. That's going to be important.
They baited out ultimates, at least 2 key ones, to stop them from getting into the payload. And they're going to have res. They're going to have every ultimate ready to go, basically, except Onigod and Barrage, who maybe is going to have it during this fight. And this Earthshatter out of Average Jonas, and this Batching hit a good Graviton Surge is going to shut down France. They somehow have to fight against this, and Onigod, that's the initial start you need to have happen on the D-Gun, but he's not able to get the kill.
No, that's right. Onigod coming forward. The Earthshatter actually seems to work out quite nicely. A couple people knocked towards the ground, but Onigod tried to catch D-Gun unsuccessfully thus far. The Earthshot's not working out for him. Could take a couple lessons from Sani if I'm not mistaken. And that D-Gun over the top. It's going to be him and Crew coming back in, but Envision gets there. The res comes in for the French side, keeps them up on their feet. Going to be Average Jonas getting the charge in on towards Michelo. Michelo stays alive because D-Gun spamming rockets from behind him. It's going to be a full hold here for the French side, and we're going to have a 1-all series here. Fantastic work on Eichenwalde. We're going to get to a 3rd map here, and it's well deserved for the French. Beautiful defense.
Yeah, and we're going to be going over onto Ilios. So there's no potential for a tie in this. Obviously, we will have a winner now. I don't know who's going to win when it comes to Ilios. We've seen Capture Point. We've seen now Hybrid Payload. And now we're going to see Control Point. And if we're going to talk about Skirmish Power, I don't really know who to give it to. I want to say France just because of D-Gun Crew, but we've been seeing time and time again so far in the series that Envision and Onigod have been able to kind of play at that level.
Heroes never die.
Oh, no doubt about it. I think it's interesting to see Onigod go towards the McCree there at the end. That's just maybe a limitation in here. Well, not a limitation in hero pool, but means he didn't want to play the Reaper, and we had to see Envision go off the McCree. I would like to see him stay on it personally. I think he's been really impressive on it thus far, but a third map is definitely what this game deserves here as, I guess, the decider for this group. You know, the winner here is going to have themselves a much easier seeding when it comes to the elimination process happening in about a few days' time. Yep. And obviously, if you come out on top of that one, I think you do go to BlizzCon.
I think so.
I think so.
I think it's 4 with 6 A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, so 3 teams from Europe go? Or is there more than 3? I don't remember. I thought there was like 4.
Not why. Do we even know that? They haven't told us that.
No, it was announced. Okay. How many teams are coming? I can't remember. But yeah, there will be teams qualifying through. And you will be avoiding a lot of the pro teams if you come in first out of this group. So apparently the French team needs a 2-minute break.
That's fine. We can start talking about Ilios then a little bit more.
It's like even Deegan's the one asking that. The one who plays professionally in... Deegan.
Well, I mean...
He's probably going to go vape. Vape Nash.
Don't even start there. No, so let's talk about this. You know, in terms of hero pool, obviously with Tracer and Genji being such a prevalent factor on this map, we actually haven't seen Tracer. We haven't seen Tracer at all from Norway yet, have we? We know that, you know, D-Gun can play Genji and Crew can play Tracer if that's going to be required here. Nox's Winston is pretty darn ferocious. I don't know if we have much data on what Norway could bring onto this map. We haven't seen them play Tracer yet.
I don't...
Like they could have played it on Anubis. They just chose
No,
not
it's
to.
not that. I don't think... Because Onigod's going to play Pharah, and when you're playing Tracer, Genji, Winston against a Pharah, you're not doing anything. Like, it's not going to work out. So it's pretty much like stopping them from playing that comp, I feel like, and they have to respond with their own Pharah, which is then Deegan switch over to that, and Crew or Crew, I guess, depending on what they want to play. They can still keep a Genji, but they can't let Onigod get free reign in the air. So they have to deal with that, and that triple comp, that triple threat of the Winston Genji Tracer just doesn't work. So I think it also depends on the map. Like when we get to Ruins, I don't necessarily think we're going to see a lot of Pharah. We'll probably see like the Reaper Genjis or Reaper McCrees or like Genji Tracers. But Lighthouse and Well, it's just too perfect for Pharah. It's quick to get back. You have a lot of positions to hide behind. You have a death pit in front of you.
And the interesting factor of this is that you can't necessarily... Well, I mean, teams are trying to do this, but you can't necessarily counter a Pharah Mercy with your own Pharah Mercy. You can't have to try to. It's sort of a weird kind of... It's not boring. It's just weird to watch them sort of fight. I mean, obviously, they're trying to air shot each other. The Mercies are just trying to heal and damage boost in tandem.
Well, that's what's funny about the Pharahs. Is that Kitty's been sticking with D-Gun a lot, but Trob's actually been just AoE healing for the most part. He doesn't necessarily stick with Onigod too much. It's not like 2v2. It's actually Onigod going 1v2 and winning out against D-Gun sometimes. So it's a little bit of a different style, I guess, of the Mercies against each other.
Yeah, Onigod wasn't able to hit D-Gun towards the end there as well. So are we ready? Not you.
Told D-Gun, I expect this out of Alpha, but not him.
Oh, going to the toilet?
Yeah. That's why we have bottles under the desk.
Have you ever tried to pee into a bottle? Honestly.
I have, actually.
The problem is it's very hard to do because the way that pressure works, like pressure distribution, if you cover the whole entrance of the bottle when you're trying to fill it up, it's going to come out the other way because there's already air pressure inside the bottle and it doesn't normalize. So
our bathroom was being redone. It was supposed to take 2 weeks. It took 6, and we had no water in the whole place. So I had to bite the bullet.
We'll leave it there, shall we?
Yep. Yeah. Let's not talk about that much more. We're entering the game, thank God, because I don't want to talk about covering the hole and the pressure builds up.
I'm just saying, like purely scientifically, purely from an academic standpoint, it's very difficult to do. And if the way that you have liquid and air pressure there also interacting, there's a liquid air interface. It's not great. You don't want liquid and air in your face either. That's for sure. Let's jump in though. It is gonna be Ilios. And we eventually have had people return from their bio breaks. Of course, like you said, Jason, there's no chance of a tie break or a tie here on this map, as it always will give us one victor or another. Onigod is thinking about going for the Symmetra. It's been a while since I've seen Symmetra on any of these maps. In fact, never. The only time was when we had a show match. It had to be like Symmetra Dodgeball, which was amusing, but not very practical at all. Fun show match, though. We did actually have AlphaCast playing in that one. So yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about depth of hero pool. Maybe that's not even important. Maybe that Pharah Mercy combo might actually be the be all and end all. But on Ruin, like you sort of alluded to, Jason, which is our first map, it's Ruin. We might actually not see Pharah at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to. And we're actually only got to play Tracer and Envision playing Genji. So we're going to see the Genji Tracer up against the Tracer Reaper. Huh. So double tank and Mikolo, who normally plays the... I think this is Cruz saying, all right, I'm sorry, Mikolo, I don't want to lose this game, but I'm playing Zarya because that's basically his main.
Yeah.
And they're trying to close this one out because they want to go to BlizzCon to represent France.
Oh, wow, that was a very quick charge up there for Crew. Let's see if he can make it happen, though. Onigod finds Kitty and Nox at least able to respond there. Average Jonas comes in through the top side, though. Nox is very advanced towards the point, and Mikolo, well, he's done his job. He got rid of the Winston. That's a good start for him. Taking a lot of damage. Nox having to back away there as well. Mikolo making his way on towards the point. It will be Badger and Trop to try and challenge initially here as well. Going to have to be very careful of that Zarya as he gets charged up. But Nox isn't afraid. He's more than happy to get friendly, as it were, jumping into the face of the enemy side. Pulse Bomb goes down, and AlphaCast could have gotten off of that one there. Maybe he was focusing on something else at the time and
killed
sort of
Trop,
missed it.
punched him in the face right before he died.
Yeah.
I'm a little sad to actually not see Mikolo on Zarya because I think he was doing actually a really good job.
Onigod.
Doing what his name says. Being a god here, picks up a double kill. And there's still just no team has actually captured the point just yet. You can see France is so close. They're just a sliver away of finally securing this one, which they will finally do here.
Nice job by Crew.
Not a lot of HP left.
No, but I mean, this is it. Like, this is why he says, Mikolo, give me the Zarya, let me play it. Zarya is such an important role in your team, and maybe if, you know, if you want to give yourself that extra chance, then yeah, sure, put that DPS player in Crew back on the Zarya like he's used to. He's more comfortable. I know he can maybe have a greater influence over the battlefield, whereas Mikolo maybe, you know, just play that Reaper through, just go up close and personal, get damage. It's not exactly rocket science to play this particular hero, although your positioning and fight starting is important to bear in mind. Pulse Pump goes down, D-Gun doesn't catch him on with that one right now, and Onigod's going to go over the top. He had 3 kills in the last fight back-to-back, but he's going to have none this time. Mikolo is ready to go with the Reaper Copter. The Death Blossom is available. He's got to be careful there. He's sort of put into a corner there by Average Jonas. Is not really what he wants. Now Badger coming in on towards the point. We did hear, of course, the Dragon Blade being pulled out by Envision, but I didn't switch to him because he got killed instantly. And another hold for the French side.
Yeah, Envision was actually being punished for the majority of the fight there. Nox was trying to knock him away time and time again. He actually kept him from using a Dragon Blade in the midst of France. And now you have some deadly combos. You have the Graviton Surge, you have a Death Blossom to pair it with, you have a Pulse Bomb to pair it with. Badger's going to have his own to use, but with Horsey having Transcendence up, should be the sign that D-Gun just combo this in. This is an easy first map victory for him if you just get the combo correctly.
Well, Graviton Surge
and he's not even there
for
it. Oh no, he does!
Pulse Bomb. Transcendence was there, but of course Pulse Bomb doesn't care about your healing per second. It's a burst damage ability. Comes in nicely, gets 2 crucial kills in Vision, and Badger going down. That's an auto-win fight for France.
And they still have the die. They have Mikolo available, ready to go with his Reaper ultimate. Just needs to get up to a position to use it. He's trying to teleport, I think, up higher.
The top, yeah.
A little bit unfortunate for him. But nonetheless, if he sits behind this little blockade, he can just pop it when they come around the corner, and then, hey, that's some easy wins for you. But 90%, this is the last chance. Norway need to attack. They have Graviton, they have Pulse Bomb, they have every opportunity to make this one work, but they have to hit it correctly.
Yeah, Mikolo took damage there as well. He probably needed a shield from Crew, if I'm honest, but Crew was, well, busy kind of killing everyone there as well. Graviton Surge in. Crew the only one caught amongst that one, and Nox also is there. They get shield. The charge going over towards Crew there was pretty handy, but eventually he does fall. Still, Pulse Bomb connects on towards Horsey, and the French just all over this one, like moss on a rock, Jason. Envision gonna have to run on towards the point. Oh, nice little deflect there. Mikolo not having the game he'd like to have, I think, getting shut down a little bit too easy. And now there is gonna be time for stall attempts. Nox gonna ult straight into that one there, trying to chase on towards Onigod and not allow him to freely be able to jump on and contest this point. But Tracer is a slippery sucker. Back and forth, she goes, and Onigod, eventually he's gonna be forced off the point. Average Jonas reaches it, but first round goes to France.
I don't know. Mikolo didn't seem as comfortable on the Reaper, I guess. He did use his Death Blossom towards the end, like right before the last fight, but I didn't even see what it killed. I don't think it killed anyone, actually. Maybe it just kind of zoned them away from a position. But Crew's really sporting why he's so good on Zarya. He died maybe a total of 2 times, but the amount of damage he did, the amount of ult percent, the pressure he applied, not to mention even the utility out of those shields, so able to, I guess, keep Norway back. But we're seeing pretty much similar comps still come out. Looks like no one's changing up as we go into, it looks like Lighthouse.
So yeah, I think it's Lighthouse. You mentioned we may see Pharah on this map. I think it was Cloud9 that did it to Fnatic back at the NA Regionals for the Atlantic Showdown, and they took him off guard and actually ran away with the rest of the series. But we won't see it here. Perhaps the Norwegian side, are not confident on picking that one up here. So same team comps, only got to get on that Tracer.
Norwegian side, they're running three DPS now. That's why Badger switched over to Reaper instead of Zarya, and they have 1 tank, Average Jonas. So they're really just trying to battle this out, trying to turn it into more of a TDM. But funny enough, the only tank on the team picks up the only 2 kills so far.
Yeah, I mean, Onigod just working on the fringes there, despite Envision actually falling off the edge Or, yeah, well, he suicided, so I guess he fell off the edge. It was a great fight. Average Jonas there staying safe behind the pillar in that middle room, and Only God able to just spread some damage around the corner. Great start for Norway. This is what they need to equalize. And Only God, how many golden guns do you have, my man?
One.
He had the McCree golden gun. He has the Tracer one as well, yeah.
Damn, he must play a lot. Well, he's level 340.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So probably a lot of his played in competitive. But in the meantime, they have the point. Norway looking to tie things up by one apiece. Remember to be a best of 5 here, not best of 3 on Ilios. And Badger with a good kill on Nox eliminates one of the crucial tanks here on the side of France.
Yeah, it's the flex playability coming out of Badger here. Interesting that they've sort of opted away from the Zarya. Maybe the Portuguese just fancy... Oh, the Norwegians, I'm so sorry. Stuck in the last game. Maybe they just fancy a little bit more of that damage. Just the direct damage, straight up front-loaded burst and DPS here. So point being taken. Digon having to back away from it here. God help me if I'm trying to find someone that's actually fighting on it. There we go. Knocks on the point, trying to chase Only God away. He's got a slither of health and just sort of walks into the arcs of that electricity coming from the Tesla cannon. Nox will take it back. Now wants to push ahead. Badger came in with a Harmony Orb, but that expires there. And the French flip the point back in their favour. But already 46% accrued here for the Norwegian side. It's a decent buffer to work with.
And France hasn't switched comps at all here. So they're seeing triple DPS, but they're still more than confident to continue to play this route. With Mikolo on the Reaper, it's like, all right, you know, Average Jonas, you can jump in, but you're immediately dead. And then you have really squishy targets behind you for us to pick off. So necessarily not working out for Norway after the initial surprise out of it. And there's a Transcendence being popped out of K to keep the teammates up, healthy, and running. But they get a position on the point.
Mikolo now stands on that point as well, where he sees the Transcendence, so there's no way he's going to go for a Death Blossom now, and not to deal with the Primal Rage Winston. It's a bit of a waste of an ult, but Only God might challenge him down there at close range, and he does. Very, very slippery again. This guy staying out of line of sight, breaking that one constantly, and allowing the rest of his team to utilize that distraction factor to get easy damage across the line. Horsey there, final kill on towards D-Gun. Point goes back to Norway, although it is quite a close game now.
Yeah, 41 to 50%. Both teams been able to take the points back after the fight, after losing it. And Badger, he's got his Death Blossom ready to go. Oni got as well as the Pulse Wand. Mikolo, he's just still sitting on his Death Blossom. He hasn't used it just yet. He's set up for a little bit of time. But again, he's looking for the right opportunity. And I think, again, Reaper maybe isn't a hero he's 100% as comfortable on as a Zarya, but he's playing it for what his team needs. And they just ran into a blender. That is going to be Norway holding the point again.
Yeah, nice use of those ultimates there. A couple of them were drawn out. Nox and D-Gun just opt to go over the edge there. That was a decision they made so they can all spawn back in together and sort of not get caught out of position at all.
I like Badger's spot here too. This is, I mean, the thing is they've been coming out of this position or coming over towards the left, and there's no losing, I think, from that spot. Just for the fact that if they come around towards the main square, the main area, you can still get back to point with Wraith form and not really be punished. And he also has Average Jonas here to protect him, or at least give him some sort of protection with a shield.
Time is running out now. Average Jonas gets himself back on towards the point. Finally, Mikolo comes up with a Death Blossom, but it's a very short-lived one. It's a wilted Death Blossom, not one you're going to pot, not one you're going to give to your girlfriend on the first date either. It's going to be Norway taking the second round away convincingly there as well. Once they got rolling, got those ultimates in, easy enough.
All right, so now we're going over to Well. Come on, give us some fairs. Onigod, D-Gun, please.
Maybe the temptation of the big hole in the middle of the ground might be too much here. We can only hope.
I feel...
I think this might just be... Here's the thing though, right? Crew wants to play Zarya because I honestly think Zarya is stupidly strong right now as well. But like, if D-Gun wants to play Pharah, what's Mikolo going to play? I don't
Reaper.
Well,
just continue to go that route.
That's it. I mean, I guess he has to play Reaper, but I don't really like... If you play against any sort of McCree's on this map, or Pharah's, of course, it's hard to sort of play the Reaper, but this works. Mikolo can play into this happily. The Genji, obviously, the Reaper and the Tracer combos, that really worked out quite nicely for Norway. They're going with a less conventional 3 DPS comp. Worked out fairly well.
And it looks like France isn't going to adapt at all. So they're just going to continue to maintain this comp, even though they know what they're up against now. But yeah, I mean, the pressure, I think, is on mostly Norway, because if you're running triple DPS, you have to be really confident in those 3 DPS's ability to pick up these kills against a very standard composition that France is using. But so far, I mean, it's working out for them. They're kind of snowballing this fight really quickly, and the fact of having 3 DPS, what it gives you is 3 big ultimates that can wipe out an enemy team instead of just the normal 2. So that third one can buy you time, obviously, if you cycle them correctly for one of the 3 to get theirs back up and available, which we did see them try to go for with a blender move before, but it wasn't as smooth, obviously, with France being able to take the point back.
Only God getting that pulse bomb online there as well as he went a little bit deeper for information just to see if there's any hero switching really happening on the side of France. But no, it's not happening there. So stubborn into this pick. Maybe they do need to make a change. I mean, I'm no expert, Jason, but that might be what's holding them back at this point. We'll see. Miklo backs away. Wraith form comes in now, just trying to get some damage on towards Jonas. Good range for him. And Discord Orb helping get a lot of that damage done as well. Pressuring on towards the point, Only God walks straight into a face full of pellets there. And now the rest of Norway just have to give a little bit of respect to the advance of this French side. Badger off towards the side, being pestered, harassed out there by Nox, if I'm not mistaken. As he's in the back line, and Badger might need to go back and peel for this one. He's low on health though, and Alpha Cast comes from nowhere. Boop in the back of the head. It's also a fist to the skull. Gets himself the kill. A hard-fought battle for the French side as they maybe lack less damage per hero than the Norwegians, but they win the fight regardless.
Yeah, so that's Soundbear at the end. Just trying to make sure they secure enough kills and they don't lose anyone, most importantly, when it comes time to Norway going for the re-attack. But look at those ultimates ready to go for Norway. You have Envision with Dragonblade, you got Horsey with his Transcendence, you got double support ultimates, you got the tank ultimate, so Average Jonas can afford to jump in really deep and not be too pressured. But now Crew, it's just here. Graviton Surge is up. Miklo has got Death Blossom. And speaking of blunders, speaking of helicopters, he's going to be able to pop his off, but the Transcendence is just going to be a little bit too strong. However, he does kill Envision through it.
Yeah, managed to get so much damage across. There must have been a little bit more than just that happening.
Discord.
Badger, though, responds on towards D-Gun. He switched towards, what, McCree? I've never seen D-Gun play McCree. Fair enough. Badger now got a pressure on towards Mikolo. Takes him low, forces him back. Mikolo can't really fight in towards that one at all. He needs to just really, honestly get out. Nox, though, Primal Rage ticking. Able to just to keep this one in stasis, in chaos a little bit longer here. But I just feel like this is an inexorable arm wrestle that the French are losing. Nox goes back in on towards the point, and Norway stand tall yet again.
And not to mention 56% too, so there's like 2 attacks left. Yeah, D-Gun's McCree, I've seen it before when I've played with them.
Yeah. Thoughts?
It's not pretty. It's not pretty. I don't know, I mean he's
mostly plays
it,
projectile.
he wants to use it to counter Onigod. The Tracer. Like, you flashbang, or Vision, you flashbang, you hit shot them, they're basically dead. But, I mean, we're going to, I guess, tag along with him for a little bit to see if he can pull anything off. And Envision, slicing that sword, it's pretty hard to miss anyone in such a tight area.
Yeah, a lot of damage. Nox and Crew fall. D-Gun's still alive at the end, but it doesn't really matter because the cleanup effect is going to come in for Onigod. He didn't really have to participate in that first fight. He still has his Pulse Bomb in fact, and there's still a Death Blossom and a Transcendence still. Really just a snowball effect now coming out from Norway.
His last attack.
Oh my lord, Kitty and Nox for Norway, more like no way you're getting on towards this point. Onigod, gonna come forward again, look for another one. The Death Blossom comes in over the top, and that's beautiful. Great little burst. Of course, the blender, as you called it, working out an absolute treat, but the Pulse Bomb on its own was enough to break France's heart, their spirit, and their stride.
The Pulse Bomb is like putting like a marble in a blender that's already on.
Oh god.
It just destroys everything if you can hit it correctly. But now we're going back to Ruin. This is where France actually did pick up the first map, so assuming they can do it yet again, we will be going to, I believe, Lighthouse as our final map of the series.
Does it follow in that order?
I think so.
Well,
I'm not 100% sure.
We'll see if your opinion...
We'll see if we get there.
We'll see if your tests on that one, yeah. I think Crew was really instrumental last time we saw them on Ruins there, managing to stay alive as long as he did. Mikolo looked a little bit more steady after that last couple maps.
He's got a really low sensitivity, which I think is why is one of the reasons he's playing Zarya a lot, is because he has such a low sensitivity, or vice versa. He has a low sense because he plays Zarya a lot. Because you're seeing like a lot of the Reapers, like Badger, when you watch him, he's spinning a lot quicker, and Miklo's a little bit slower to do that, which you need to have like those high reactions to hit people like Tracer when you have to be really accurate up close.
Jonas looking for some kills there, but Miklo able to shut him down fairly comfortably now. That aggressive push stymied. Onigod trying to work in from the back, but Badger and Horsey elsewhere are getting damage done. They still fall though, and now Horsey standing on the point on his own. Gets a Discord Orb on towards Miklo, but still cut down in the process, and that Reaper able to stay alive. The French side looking a bit more aggressive, like they have that killer edge they're looking for of the last couple maps coming forward. And I mean, it's just as well they have it now, because this is to keep them alive. They get the first point, they've got to push forward onto that one as well. Nox wasting no time in trying to stagger this one out to try and keep the Norwegians at bay.
Oh, we knew this would be a good game. Honestly, didn't expect it to go potentially into the 5th map of Nepal in the final map of the best of 3 series. But we're going to have Norway go for the attack again. Onigod's going to be on McCree now instead of Tracer. He's trying to deal with D-Gun now in particular. Maybe make a little bit more from range. Like you said, does have the golden gun for McCree. And a Vision with the Dragon Blade's going to get 1. Going to get 2, actually. Gets Nox, most importantly, who's the only man who can really counter him unless Crew's there. through that reflect.
That's really big as well. Just as his ult was timing out, it manages to get rid of Kitty. Looking for his 4th kill of that little tract, and I think he'll have it here. Not much Alpha Cast can do about it. Only got with the KS, but it doesn't matter. It's all about holding the point, and it's flipped back now towards Norway. 31% was accrued in the space of that fight, remember, as it wasn't actually flipped until the fight finished. So sometimes it's okay to lose a fight if you can give yourself enough of a percentage increase in the duration. And drag it out as you can, but now big ult's coming in. A Graviton Surge for Crew here. D-Gun has the Pulse Bomb, and Crew spotted out Envision standing on the top of that pillar. He's going to force him away. Wow, goes in for the long-range shot. Fair enough there. What's D-Gun going to do, though? He gets the Pulse Bomb. He gets himself 2 kills. Trobbin only got fall down. The Transcendence was a little bit too late to the party, and it didn't matter when it's a burst damage ability, like I said before. D-Gun gets on towards Badger as well, and that's the combo the French needed to make it work. And with 2 of their best players, they do, to the T, make it happen.
And now they still have a Death Boss on Mikolo. They still have the Transcendence. They still have that Primal Rage that knocks most importantly. And Norway, they don't really have too much to respond with. And that's kind of like the problem when there's a Tracer on the enemy team and it's a Graviton combo. Transcendence just won't heal you through it. And you need like a Sound Barrier, but it's even invested in Sound Barrier into that is so risky because it gives you, 500 HP that degrades extremely quickly. If you take any sort of damage during that time, the Pulse Bomb will still kill you. But Mikolo's going to pick up a quad kill. And that will be another hold. But that's basically their last ultimates. At least big ultimates that they're going to need or have to use.
And the problem with Sound Barrier as well, that if you're caught in a Graviton Surge, you need to hit the ground to use it, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe you could do it inside there. Either one, there's still like a delay on that ultimate actually activating, whereas Transcendence is immediately channeled. So sometimes, I've seen it before, sometimes Lucios can't even respond quickly enough to realizing the Pulse Bomb's there. You need to preempt it. You need to know what's going to happen. And that can be hard to do sometimes, but now Mikolo wants to come in. It's going to be Onigod with a Deadeye. Finds Kitty, having to back away. Took a little bit more damage than he would have otherwise liked to. My God, these flicks from Onigod are insane. I don't know how he's finding anyone right now. He does get the flash, though, on towards Mikolo. Bit of damage. Mikolo can't back away under the cover of the shadows, as it were. And now AlphaCast just stalling this one out a little bit longer. Nox just plonks himself on towards the point. He will also fall, though, but this is looking good for the French side. 96 and almost 97% on this point before it gets flipped back. One more fight win, and they're going to have the match.
And they have Graviton Surge and Pulse Bomb combo yet again for the next re-attack. So Norway have to be careful here. Trob doesn't have Sound Barrier. Horsey will have the Transcendence, but as we just saw before, it does not help against this combo. So they somehow need to deal with D-Gun. Onigod, if he can connect the shots to actually take D-Gun out before the Graviton Surge happens, or after it happens, that'd be big. But there you go. D-Gun directly in the middle. Doesn't even need the Pulse Bomb here, because they catch it on 2 squishy targets, the 2 supports. And France will take it back, and ideally they're going to be able to take this map.
Oh, Badger, though, tries to go for a little bit of a cheeky death loss in there, but not enough defense, not enough defensive infrastructure to keep him alive there. Now we see Average Jonas trying to go the Primal Rage route, keep this one pointed, bouncing up and down on it, but again, it's inexorable. The French are going to have this one, and a few more percent, and we're going to be pretty much done. So overtime comes in. Onigod manages to keep this one going. The Transcendence comes in over the top. That's not a little bad play at all, coming in from Horsey. But still, you need to see a fight one here, and Mikolo is going to use that Death Blossom happily enough. He gets on towards Onigod, and now does Envision have enough time to get to the point? He's running like the wind, essentially, and he gets there. Now having to fight on towards this one, but a Pulse Bomb placed down by D-Gun gets 2 kills. Average Jonas jumping on towards the point. The French are looking good. The French are going to take it to a decider here on Ilios. Impressive work from them indeed. Map 5 is around the corner.
Oh, so you have to give credit to France there too. This seems like Ruin is definitely a good map for them. They play around the map, I think, a little bit better than Norway does. Looks like we actually will be going to well. Okay, so it's one of the 2 of the last. I thought for some reason...
I don't think it runs in order, isn't it? It's just
no, it's not in order. I thought it was going to do... it can't play the 3rd map again. But anyways, we'll see well again, which we did see Norway win. So let's see if France can come back from this one. Looks like they're more than happy to stick with the comp excuse me, that they have been using. Keeping Mikolo on the Reaper, keeping D-Gun on Tracer, Crew on Zarya. And on the other side, they're not switching things up either. They're still keeping... Well, actually, they're still running the triple DPS comp with Onigod on Tracer over from the McCree, but they're still keeping Badger on Reaper, and they're still keeping Envision on Genji.
The McCree only came out towards the end of the last game for... Onigod, I think it was, yeah, it didn't really have the impact that he would have liked it to. So, yeah, this aggression, this is where we first saw it come out from the Norwegian side, and it took the French by surprise. I think they've adjusted to it a little bit now. I think they've managed to get a bit of an understanding of how it works, but against this kind of composition, it doesn't matter how much you know, it doesn't matter how full your playbook is. You just need to mechanically outplay and win these duels.
Well, so far, speaking of those duels, they have not won them. Norway's going to be able to capture the point. Onigod still playing aggressive. Remember, he had that great 2-man post bomb at the end the last time they played on well. And those 2 kills that they got actually pretty much halted France in their steps. And from that, they actually went in the map. But France, no ultimates ready to use. You see Mikkel on the front line trying to look for some sort of opportunity to go in, and Deegan actually goes straight towards the back. He's looking for Horsey, and he just might have it.
He managed to get the health back though, Horsey. Now that forces Deegan away. He's sort of short on time and needs to help out the rest of his team. Dragonblade coming in. It could be pretty nasty here. And Vision looking for a next target. He's got himself 3 for that fight now. Just spreading a bit of extra damage on towards Nox, who eventually has to crumple and fall. Mikelo goes off the edge, whether by his own design or otherwise, he's still dead. And now 32% on the clock for Norway.
And keep in mind, I mean, whichever team loses this just means they're going to be second place in the group, and they still go through to the knockout matches next week. So it's not like you're out of the entire tournament here for both teams, but it gives you a hell of a better chance if you can come through as first. And Crew, look at this, just down 100 HP, but he just still can't be killed. The shield regenerates, gets healing as well. They need to be able to kill him because he's maintaining such high energy for the majority of the time. But there we go, Vision and Badger picking up 2.
Yeah, Badger went in for the Death Blossom there as well, managed to catch on towards Crew. Only God is a very good tracer, this guy. I mean, he flicks a lot. He's got a super high sensitivity, I think, but he seems to be very, very hard to catch or to predict. Now, Only God should come in here with a Pulse Bomb and just stop the push in its tracks. If France lose more than one player, don't drop it on Crew. No. Not really what he would have liked. Crew would have just shielded up. He could have shielded himself and Deegan and got himself free charge. So Only God maybe could have been a little bit more patient there, but still looking to go in and assassinate early. Oh, Kitty, very lucky to be alive there. Got to get some quick healing done, but Badger and Average Jones are waiting at the door there as well. There's just no easy entry here on towards his point for the French side.
This is the last chance. France have to successfully attack here to take this point back. They're down 85% to 0. It's going to be up to 95 before they even get into this point. And Crew's going to have his Graviton Surge. Even Deegan has his Pulse Bomb. But are they even going to be allowed to get there? Because even Vision, with his Dragon Blade, he can stall for some time.
97%. So the fight has to be getting here. There's going to be stalling plenty happening after the fact, I'm sure. Transcendence comes in from Kitty there. Just trying to stave off the initial burst damage coming in, but now the Graviton Surge as well. That's coming up for the French team. They might be able to shut this one down here. I think we actually see Horsey going with his own Transcendence there. The Pulse Bomb, that would have been what they needed to cut through it. Deegan threw that out as he was dying, and it doesn't actually hit onto anyone at all. It looks like the French are actually just falling back in this fight, but Crew standing tall, that's the most important factor. And now only a couple players left here. Overtime ticking on down as this point is retaken back for the French. Fortunately, they get it done. It was looking a bit haywire. The Crew was untouched.
Just look at his energy. I mean, he was up to 100 energy in that fight. You saw some of it being fed, but Onigod spamming away at Miklo when he had the shield onto him. It's like, hey, Crew's more than happy to have that happen. But still, 913%. Like, they have to hold for, even this next fight, they have to hold for the next 2 or 3, and even into that overtime skirmish to be able to secure this one. And Badger, ooh, Nox going a little bit too deep there. Badger's just going to back away. Soundbarrier's being popped, and I think Norwich is going to disengage for now.
Yeah, they should back away and wait for that Soundbarrier at least to sort of dissipate. But the French don't want to allow them to do this, of course. They want to get aggressive and push them. Nice work by Crew. They're very artfully placing those right clicks around the corner to pick it up. So a wipe for the French. This is a kind of a good sign for them. They did expend, of course, the Soundbarrier into this, but they're able to build up some ults with damage done here. Next fight, Deegan's going to have the Pulse Bomb. Crew already has Graviton Surge. So we could see the comeback here. The big 99-0 comeback from France. It's possible if they are wise about the way they use these ults. They're in pole position now, and they just need to maintain that.
Me and Badger off to the side, just trying to sneak around. Deegan just has to make sure to not die here. The Graviton is going to be popped, as well as the Pulse Bomb. Going to connect on a horse who doesn't have Transcendence up anymore, and there's 2 more kills off the back of that. But even though France is going to win this fight, they have to do it again, and they don't have much to work with here. Miklo has to be in prime position to make this Death Blossom work, to secure this map and this series for France, and #1 spot in the group. But look at Badger and Vision. They're ready to go.
If this takes too long, this is the only chance that the Norwegians are actually going to have. So they need to push pretty quickly and make something happen here. They've got that Dragon Blade as well. So Envision, he's had really, really impactful Dragon Blade so far in this map. There needs to be a response. Kitty's going to have to pop the Transcendence immediately. Death Blossom's coming in from Miklo. Doesn't seem to get anything, but there comes the Transcendence out of the fight. Horsey dies first there to Nox him. Envision trying to do something in the back line, but he's wasting DPS time by trying to reflect. He knows he needs to go down the well now because there won't be time to get back. It's now 94%. Last chance saloon here for the Norwegians. Alpha just needs to make sure that no one can sneak back on towards the point, but Horsey goes off the edge there. I think that's not ideal at all here. Overtime ticking down. You can see right behind the Winston here. Average Jonas has to get over alive, and he does. He keeps that overtime going, but then he goes down almost instantly after that one. An attempt there for a Death Blossom to come in there doesn't work out at all for Badger, and the French hold the point. Somehow they might be able to take this one away. Now Horsey needs to run towards the point, but there's no time, and the French come from behind. It was 99-0 in favour of Norway, but the French flip it over, get some good ults, get some good fights, and snowball their way to a map, a series victory.
And not to mention, that's #1 seed out of the group. You're avoiding, if we're following the logic, you're avoiding all the #1 seeded groups. That's Sweden at the moment. That's potentially Finland. That's potentially German or the CIS and Baltic. Like, this is so many teams that have full roster of pro players that you're completely avoiding. And I think France is now one step closer to getting themselves to BlizzCon.
Very impressive stuff there from France. They had their detractors, they had their critics, but I mean, the result is quite simple. They're looking like they're on a trajectory for BlizzCon now. They do need to, of course, still win out their elimination matches. In groups where you have teams like Germany and the Baltic and CIS region in the same group, if you have to play up against that group, even if you get first in this one, that's still not an easy map. There are definitely some groups that are a little bit scarier than others. But, I mean, congratulations there to France for taking the top spot.
Yeah, and now we have Finland against the UK coming up next at 1700, so it's about 10 minutes from now, 17 minutes from now, close enough. And that's going to be a crazy game. Wow, man, the UK lost to Iceland yesterday. So Iceland being able to sport some stuff, and Finland had some, probably the most one-sided matches we've seen. We saw Taimu playing Lucio, of all heroes. And then, of course, Linkster, if you saw his tweet, had a great time playing Reinhardt, holding W, holding mouse 1, and getting nano boosted. I
mean, Linkster, he's always a very engaged person. He's stimulated, always. Like, always doing something when he's playing games. So playing Reinhardt's probably more static than he'd like. But let's see how it works out for them. In that next match, the guys from the UK have got a big challenge. Let's see if they can handle it. We'll see you soon.